Well, I'm joined in the studio by Mohamad Elmasry. He's a professor at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. Mohamad, good to see you again. So I'm very, very keen to try and get a fuller understanding of precisely what's happening in the occupied West Bank. Lots of comments coming particularly from Israel. We've heard from Ronen Bar, the head of Israel's Shin Bet security service, saying we're talking of switching attention to the West Bank. We've had the Israeli Army Chief, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, talking about bringing Jenin to a different place. Israel Katz, the country's defence minister, talking of a slight shift in strategy, not just of eliminating terrorists, he said, but to stop them coming back. Many Palestinians in the occupied West Bank believe all of this is a precursor to annexation. The Israelis say no, this is about eliminating Palestinian fighters. Between those assertions, what's happening?
Well, Israel's been saying for decades that they're just fighting terrorism, but that's just kind of a smokescreen. What Israel wants to do and what it's been doing for decades, literally, is expanding into the West Bank. And this is just more of the same. Yes, it's right to shine a light on this because it is an escalation. This is a significant escalation. But this is basically Israeli policy. There are more than 200 illegal Israeli settlements and outposts in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. There are more than 750,000 illegal Israeli settlers, and it's been policy of the Israeli state to expand slowly but surely into Palestinian territory. And you're right, I think, to highlight the possibility of annexation, because we're getting more and more of these kinds of calls and whispers from the Israeli right. I mentioned earlier Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister, when he said that 2025 would be the year of sovereignty for the West Bank. Of course, he doesn't use the phrase West Bank. He calls it Judea and Samaria. So this is biblical interpretation, and I think many Israelis, including the political elite, see the Trump administration as a historic opportunity to expand into the West Bank like they never have before, and to annex as well as much of it as possible.
And what more specifically do we know about the lifting of sanctions on these settlers? Many of them, as you say, are driven by religious belief that they have a right to the ancient lands of Judea and Samaria, is of course the occupied West Bank, lived in by Palestinians. I mean, was the lifting of those sanctions, do you think, part of the deal that laid the groundwork for Gaza, or was it something else, just purely linked to the arrival of Trump?
I think that may have been part of the deal. I mean, I'm speculating here, but I fear that there was more, that there are more promises from Trump to Netanyahu. I mentioned annexation. That could be something. But there's no question that the settlers now feel more emboldened. Right? We've heard about settler attacks just this week. A couple of Palestinians, two of the Palestinians that have been killed, at least, were killed by Israeli settlers, according to reports. So, and this also, going back to what I was saying a few moments ago, we have to continuously highlight that, yes, this is an escalation, but it's not anything new. 2023, before the October 7th attack, in the first 9 months of 2023, it was the most violent year on record for Palestinians in the West Bank. 2023 set a record, and then 2024 broke that record. And now we're off to a horrible start in 2025 with more than 30 Palestinians in the West Bank already killed in just the first 24 days. So this is, unfortunately, I would say, more of the same.
Yeah, it seems to be turbocharged now that the Trump administration is taking over. I mean, this from B'Tselem, the Israeli human rights group, who said that settlers are operating with the, quote, direct support and full cooperation of the Israeli army to attack Palestinian communities. Extraordinary developments in the occupied West Bank. Mohamad, always good to hear your thoughts. Mohamad Elmasry, then.
Thanks.